Ever wonder what it really takes to turn a dream you have in college into a business that actually makes a difference? Turns out, it's not just about having a brilliant idea. It's about a certain kind of grit, a relentless focus, and a journey we're about to dive into.
So, how do you do it? How do you take that spark, that idea that keeps you up at night, and actually forge it into something real, something impactful? Well, let's follow one person's incredible path and see if we can find some answers.
So, meet Nat. His story starts in a place a lot of great ideas do, a university campus. But his goal? Yeah, that was anything but ordinary.
All right, so let's start at the beginning, during his foundational years at university. This is where the seed of his ambition was planted, long before he ever stepped foot in a boardroom.
You know, right from day one, as an environmental engineering student, Ned had this laser-focused vision. He wanted to become a top-tier expert in his field. But it wasn't just about landing a great career. The end game for him was always to launch his own business, one that would tackle real-world environmental problems head-on.
And this is what set Nat apart right from the get-go. He knew that textbooks and lectures just weren't going to cut it. He threw himself into hands-on work. I'm talking organizing tree planting initiatives, designing wastewater recycling systems, and even creating waste management plans for local communities. He was literally living his future, not just studying for it.
And this, right here, highlights such a crucial difference. I mean, in the classroom, you get formulas and controlled lab settings. But out in the field, Nat was tackling totally unpredictable challenges. He was learning how to collaborate with the team, and his success wasn't measured by grades, but by the real, tangible impact he was having. That's a complete game changer. This was his mantra, the thing that drove him. Tired today for the world and our own future. Think about that for a second. It just speaks to this incredible sense of purpose. The hard work, the late nights, it wasn't just for a good grade. It was a personal investment in the kind of world he wanted to help create.
So, university's over. He's got the knowledge, he's got the drive. But now comes the first real test. All that experience, all that purpose was about to be put on the line in the high-stakes professional world. So Nat doesn't just get any job. He lands a spot at a really prestigious engineering firm. And it didn't ease him in either. Nope, his very first project was a massive assignment at a major industrial plant. This was it, his chance to prove himself on a whole new scale. And then, disaster strikes. Totally out of the blue, the factory completely changes its production process. In an instant, every single plan, every calculation, all the work Nat's team had poured into this, it was useless, obsolete. The entire project was about to collapse. But this is where you see what someone's really made of, right? While everyone else was starting to panic, Nat became the calm in the storm. His approach was so methodical. First, just breathe. Assess the new reality. Second, dive right back into the data, the raw numbers. Third, reorganize the team. Give everyone clear new roles. And finally, and this is so important, constant communication. He made sure no one, not the client, not the team, was ever left in the dark. You know, his response wasn't just some clever tactic he pulled out of a hat. It was rooted in a personal principle he learned from his family: patience in the face of hardship. That philosophy gave him the internal stability to navigate absolute chaos and turn a potential disaster into a defining moment of his career.
That crisis, that was the turning point. It didn't just save the project, it completely solidified his reputation. And it set him on this very deliberate path from being a really skilled engineer to becoming a leader who was ready to build something of his own.
And his path from that point on was anything but random. It was totally strategic. By the time he's 30, he's a recognized expert. By 35, he's managing the entire engineering department. By 37, he's quietly laying the groundwork for his own company. And by 40, he's done it. He's actually achieved the very dream he first sketched out in a university notebook all those years ago.
So, after all that, what can we take away from Nat's incredible journey? Let's try to distill it down into the core principles that you or I or anyone can apply to their own ambitious goals. Okay, so let's break it down. First, vision. It's not just some fuzzy endpoint. It's your North Star, the filter for every single choice you make. Second, experience. This is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's where theory gets real. Third, don't run from a crisis. It's the fire where real leadership is forged. Fourth, your values are your anchor. They're the compass that keeps you steady when everything else is shaking. And finally, remember that success is a process.
Every single stage, even the really tough ones, is just the foundation for what comes next.
And that brings it all back to you, doesn't it? After seeing Nat's journey from a simple idea to a thriving business, the question isn't if you can achieve your dream. The real question is, what's the first small, practical step you can take toward it starting right now?